Understanding what the purpose of your event is going to help you to understand what goals you need to set. So that could be, I am celebrating my 5-year anniversary. Again, I want to bring in this many new customers. So understanding that's your goal. Let's work towards that. Are you planning something to network? Are you wanting to elevate your brand awareness? Are you planning something for your employees? Do you just want to celebrate them? That could be something as small as a dinner or a big team dinner for Christmas. Are you doing a anniversary party? I just saw recently some businesses are celebrating their 5 years. So maybe they're doing an open house and just having new customers come in and see their space that probably haven't seen them before or heard of them before. And let's set clear and measurable goals. So next we want to identify your target audience. So there's a lot of resources you can use if you don't already have the knowledge of who your audience is. I personally use Facebook Meta Business Suite. I think it's the easiest to use personally. It's free. But this is just an example. So say Sally's Boutique audience is primarily women aged 25 to 34 years old. Okay. And maybe we want to bring in younger women. And so we see that women from 18 to 24 year olds are not coming in as often. How can we raise that? So what type of event are we going to plan to bring them in? And so again, this is kind of the view of what it looks like on Meta Business Suite. So you can see all the demographics. This includes your city. This includes your Facebook and Instagram followers. So it does connect the two if you have both pages, a Facebook and an Instagram business page. Again, we can see, am I primarily geared for women? Am I primarily geared for men? What age group am I reaching the most, and who do I want to reach? So next, we're going to go over budget. So personally, for me, I love to spend money. So sometimes I have a hard time figuring out how to get the perfect budget for an event. So it's a good idea to kind of shop around, so maybe you have your favorite caterer that you use all the time. But maybe for this specific event, you want something a little cheaper, or maybe something a little more high end. So you're going to shop and see what works for your example happy hour. Also consider if you'd like to include any fun games, activities, whatever that looks like for you. That's going to also go into the overall cost of your event. And so I like to use something that's been talked about a lot, especially over the last couple of years, ChatGPT. So it's really easy to ask AI questions and see what it can provide for you. It's super fast. It's free. You can use the paid version of ChatGPT. But this is an example that I used. I asked, gotta remember to click. But I had asked ChatGPT what an example of a budget for a happy hour for up to 30 guests looks like. And so it was less than a minute that they provided this for me. Again, if you're just getting overwhelmed by creating a budget, just start here and you can adjust as needed based on your needs. And so you can see it really maps out everything. It includes food, drinks. Are you needing to rent a venue, decor? Are you going to hire music? So all of that, it will give you super easy and again, free. So event design and execution. I personally still use Pinterest. I don't know if everyone does, but I really find it valuable. I'll put boards up that's specific for an event. So this is an example for one of our Christmas celebrations we did a couple years ago. I kind of created that mood board. I figured out what elements I wanted to include in that event. So it's super easy. I probably Googled, or I looked up on Pinterest, gold Christmas aesthetic. And these are the things I pinned to that. You can also do this on other social media as well. I know TikTok has a lot of cool tips and tricks that people post. You can create little albums in the app. You can do this on Instagram and Facebook as well, whatever you find most comfortable. But again, I really do value a mood board. So it kind of gives you the general idea of what's going to work and what you want it to look like in the end. Okay, so now we need to figure out our timeline, and that's going to help you to stay organized. So this is also something that you can ask ChatGPT for. If you, again, feel overwhelmed, don't know where to start, it can kind of outline this for you and you can plug and play what works best. So I usually recommend starting out about 2 months before your event. Start thinking about what you're going to be doing. What type of event is it? Are we doing an open house? Are we doing a happy hour? Maybe you're doing a sale for your small business. Again, maybe you're just celebrating your employees, something you want to plan ahead for. Make sure you're reaching out to those vendors with enough, give yourself enough time to make those changes if needed. I recommend reaching out or posting on social media about your events at least a month prior. This gets enough attention, gives you enough time to get enough attention for people to be interested in your event. And also, I just think, again, that's more than enough time. Finalize any small details 2 weeks prior to your event. So that leaves you with enough flexibility to make changes if needed. I feel like that's a good timeline. 1 week before your event, if you have sent out mailers or invitations, or you had created a link for people to RSVP to your event, make sure that you're checking in with them, reminding them, hey, we have this event coming up. Just wanted to make sure you're still attending. If not, it's okay, but make sure you're checking in with those guests. 1 to 2 days before your event, make sure you have everything double checked, triple checked. So the food's going to arrive on time. What time are they coming in? Are you having it catered? Are you just having it dropped off? How are you serving it? Your decorations, is everything there? Is it prepped for the most part? Day of, that's when you really want to make sure that everything's aligned. If you have a team or a staff, assign those staff roles so they know what they're responsible for. And post-event, again, that's your time to send thank you notes if needed, maybe post on social media that the event went well, thank those for attending. So if you need help organizing and making sure your timeline looks accurate or building that timeline, we value Asana. So this is free. And you can share this with other teammates. So you can have up to 15 people on the Asana app for free. If you need other tools, there is a premium subscription you can use. But this is just an example that I did. So you can see that I assigned my tasks, and I can assign it to different employees. I can also choose when I want them done. So like I had scheduled me to pick a venue at the 1st of November. And I wanted to set my budget by the 8th of November. It can also help you budget. So there's that cost column, and I want to order decor. Well, I know that's going to cost me about $50, so I set that there. And then I need to order drinks. That's about $200. So again, that can also help you budget. And I think this is the most valuable for planning events because everything's right there. The only thing you won't be able to see will be that social media you plan, or social media invitations. However you plan to get the word out, you won't actually see this in Asana, but we'll see, and we'll talk about what I use for that. So here is a calendar view, depending on the type of view you like. Earlier, we were just in the list view. I like to see it all at once, but this is a calendar. If you just want to see your dates, you can tell, again, I'm picking my venue on the 1st of November. I'm setting my budget on the 8th. I have these things to do on the 15th, and so on. This is the dashboard. And so if you also, I don't think I mentioned this, you can click off and check off which things you've completed already. So if I already picked my venue, then it would say I have 16 incomplete tasks instead of the 17. So again, a huge view of what's needed to be accomplished for your event. And again, this is a free resource, and you can share this with your team members, up to 15 team members. So let's go over marketing. I really do value social media. I think right now, especially in the age we're in, it's going to be most effective, personally, in my opinion. Depending on, again, but that also depends on your audience and what they use the most. And so if you are planning on doing social media, How are you going to engage with your audience? Are you using hashtags? You can run paid ads. You can do that on Meta Business Suite through Facebook. I also really do recommend using the events on Facebook. That's kind of what a lot of people are doing now, especially for bigger events. That gives you one place to look at what's going on. If there's updates, they will remind people. And also make sure you're using countdowns and reminders on your social media. So we have 5 days until our open house. We have 1 hour until our open house. Don't forget to RSVP, those types of things. For email marketing, make sure that you have your list ready. I'm not sure if Square automatically asks you to fill out your email once you make a purchase with your small business. But however you're using a CRM, making sure you're getting your customer information is very valuable because that's how you'll be able to contact them later. You can create personal messages. Hey, Sally, we have this event. We hope to see you. Track your performance. So using email analytics to see how many people have opened the email, if they're actually reading the content. Again, that's just a few like analytics I try to. And then traditional advertising. So are you going to be putting out posters, flyers? Do you want this to be in a local magazine? How are you going to advertise your event? So here's an example of scheduling out social media posts on Meta Business Suites. Again, this is our free resource. And so you can see that I have Facebook and Instagram scheduled in the month of June at different times, kind of to see what's going to work best. But if you want to do this a month ahead, 2 months ahead before your event, it's super easy to use. And it's my favorite resource again. There are also other businesses like MailChimp. If you want to send out email campaigns, that's the easiest to use. They do have a free version. HubSpot also has a free version. They all kind of have memberships based on what you're needing. So if you are a bigger business and you need to send more or get more data analytics or need more tools, there are premium versions that you can buy. But I do recommend just starting out with the free versions on MailChimp and HubSpot. I believe Hootsuite is not free, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you have to purchase a membership in order to use that. They all have free trials. But again, depending on what your needs are, I would start out doing a trial run and seeing if you like those apps. So for the day of your event, making sure that all of your items are in their place and that all the equipment is tested if needed. So again, that goes back into getting with your staff, making sure they know what they're in charge of, what are they responsible for, testing your equipment. Are you playing a playlist? Are you presenting a slideshow? Kind of run through all of that before your event to make sure there's no hiccups. And if there are, you can take care of that. So again, staff roles and schedules. So making sure that you've already prepared ahead of time and making it known who's responsible for what. So if Chad needs to go get the ice at this time, he knows that instead of scrambling in the middle of your event. Your guest experience. So how are people going to know how to find your business? Do you need to put signs outside? Are you in a shopping mall? Like, how are people going to know how to find you? Being aware of, if you didn't know your business, how are you going to make sure they do? So after your event, we do recommend collecting feedback. So whether that be a survey you send out at the end of your event to all of the participants or attendees, they can let you know, we enjoyed this was great. Maybe I wouldn't recommend this after. Event metrics. So again, kind of seeing how many people have showed up. How did you meet those goals that you originally had set in the beginning of your event planning? Making sure you're keeping track of that throughout this whole process is very important so that you know what to improve on later. And then thanking your participants or your partners. So we try our best to send out thank you notes if people have rented our facilities. We have conference and training room space. So I'll send a thank you for coming with that, or thank you for visiting our space. We hope to see you soon. Those small touches let your customers know that you care, and they most likely are going to want to come back to you because they felt great meeting you, along with your partners. So those can be small gestures. Again, a thank you note, maybe small gifts, something that lets them know that you care and you're appreciative of what they've done for you. And that's it. I'm a fast talker, I just realized, so sorry. But I'm open for questions.
Yeah, and we like to keep these short so that people have time to ask questions and have lunch as well. So anyone who wants to, you are absolutely welcome to turn on your camera and unmute yourself. And if you have questions, you can also type them in chat, whichever is easiest for you. I love Zeta. One, I love that you use ChatGPT for the budget. Like every time that I think I've used ChatGPT for everything that we could possibly use it for, like you come up with something else.
Something new, yeah.
It is, and I think you can use that like we use it for so many other things where you're just using it to come up with general information, and then from there you can take it and tweak it. The budget that ChatGPT comes up with, like that's not the budget that you're going to use. That's fine.
Right.
But it's got categories laid out in there that you might not have thought of and overlooked until the day of your event when it's too late. So I love that you use it for that. It's fantastic. Now, and Asana as well, we share an Asana account. You can probably see that in the example that Zeta shared. And that really helps us. We've enjoyed using that because even though we are just literally right around the corner from each other in the building, we're not always talking together every day and working on things. And so when there's something that one of us wants the other to do, make sure that's not missed. That's a really good way for us to share. So if you've got employees that are working remotely, whether it's for an event or something else, I definitely agree with Zeta. Asana is a wonderful recommendation. All right.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Gina. How are you?
Good.
Zeta, we're buying a park lot. So the city has bought it, and then we're going to take it over as the Barrio Neighborhood Planning Committee off of 10th Avenue. And so I'm trying to think, and we plan a lot of different events. Should we, or would you recommend that when we start the asphalt, for example, that you do kind of that groundbreaking, at that time, and then once it's done, then you do the ribbon cutting. I mean, that kind of thing. I mean, I'm trying to think. When do you let the public be a part of it? I mean, we already have a 10 by 6 foot banner on the park fence, the lot fence, I should say. So people have been stopping by, taking a look at it, looking at the map, and it's got a map, and then we're thanking our sponsors on it. And then we have a fundraiser of a monument. So I'm just kind of wondering what you recommend.
Yeah. So I think especially when you're just opening your business, I think it's really important to try to get as many events, as you can, scheduled to like a groundbreaking at 1 month, and then maybe in the following month doing your ribbon cutting. I think that's a great idea. I also forgot to mention this earlier, but when you're advertising your events, I do recommend maybe looking at the local events in your area, or like the chamber for Amarillo, seeing if you can get that scheduled on their calendar so that it has more of a reach. But yeah, I do recommend doing more than one event, especially when you're opening that new business.
Thank you.
I love the groundbreaking, Teresa, because it really gives your stakeholders a chance to be connected and be recognized. And anytime you have a chance to thank them and give them that recognition, that's a win.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody have anything else?
So I have a question. Can you hear me? This is Nikki.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to have a brunch on the 23rd, but I'm trying to reach out to get sponsors for like sponsorship. And do you have another way other than just going to the stores of reaching out to sponsors?
Um, you know what? I haven't worked with sponsors a whole lot. I do, and it might vary on what type of services you offer. But I maybe look into trading services, seeing if that's something that you could do. What is your
Okay.
business?
My business is a boutique business. It's called Lux Styles, but I'm having a women empowerment brunch on the 23rd.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of, especially women-owned businesses that I bet you can reach out to and they'd be happy to join in on something like that. But again, if you're willing, maybe trading services just to start off might be beneficial for you. Gina, do you have any recommendations?
I think I would just add to that when you're thinking about sponsorships, what I try to do here is not just pick random people, random businesses. Always try to pick somebody that is aligned with your mission and has some interest in it. So I love what Zeta's talking about with the other women-owned businesses and boutiques. Obviously, their interest there is they want to support you, but there's also an angle you can take where they want to be able to reach the women that are attending your brunch, and so there's some benefit for them to be able to include, whether it's, financial sponsorship or you need sponsorship with items in your goodie bags, whatever that looks like. Make sure that when you approach them, pick the ones that you can show some direct benefit to. And then also when you approach them, make your ask very clear and don't give too many options because that's overwhelming.
Okay.
If you just walk into me and say, Gina, do you want to sponsor this? And that's all you tell me, I'm probably going to say no. I need you to be really direct and tell me, what is your ask specifically? How much do you want? How many people is it going to reach? How is this going to benefit me? And maybe give me, I love when you're giving me different options that it's always an odd number. I think if you're going to pitch a sponsorship, give me 3 different options. Give me gold, silver, and bronze. If you start to go over that, that's too much. And again, we've all got a lot on our plates, and I'm going to shut down and say, no, thank you. Give me 3 different options, make it really clear, and spell out on a single sheet of paper, these are the benefits that I'm going to get with gold, silver, and bronze, how many people I'm going to reach, and specifically what you're asking for. And then you're a lot more likely to get those sponsorship dollars. But if
Okay.
you and it's
Okay.
vague, I just have this assumption that you don't really know what you want and what you're going to do with it. And is my money going to be spent well? And I'm going to say no. So spend a little time putting together a 1-pager and it's well worth it.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Mary had a question. I guess her audio is not working. She wants to know about renting our facilities. I'd be happy to send you an email or give you a call later today. But again, we do have conference and training room availability over at the WT Enterprise Center. And so again, I'm the one that handles all of it. So if you want to send me your email, I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, Mary, you're welcome to call, and I can pass your email on to Zeta as well since we've got it in registration.
Okay.
Any questions for Zeta? Well, I want y'all to have time to eat, and one of my coworkers just came and sat a plate of enchiladas in front of me, and it smells really good. It was a cool thing to do, so I also am gonna go eat my enchiladas.
I just wanted to make a comment. This was great. One of my things is that I always try to have, even if I just get one golden nugget out of anything that I do, it's just great. And today I got golden nuggets. I never thought of I use ChatGPT all the time. Never thought of it as putting a prompt
Getting
in.
an outline.
Oh, I can do that. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Barbara. I wouldn't have thought of using it for that either. Yeah.
Really, you could ask it anything and it will tell you.
All right, one last chance before I eat my enchiladas. All right, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. And I will send you an email afterwards. Aaliyah will be in the morning and she will edit this recording. That way you have it to go back and use for reference if there's anything that you missed. So I hope we see you back again next month. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Later.